Well, happy opening day for the Seattle Mariners. Jay Tust is with us. It's Friday. We got a lot to talk about today. Hope everybody is doing good. This is Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. My Cardinals, of course, already 1-0 on the official opening day of baseball yesterday. But
no, 0-1. You said it. You said it.
We didn't give up a run. 9-0 win. You know what? Me and Johnny were talking about this, Jay. The Cardinals and Mariners actually have the same over/under win total in Vegas. We should, if you're okay with it, even though the Cardinals have the head start, maybe we could put some sort of on the line for more wins. But I hope this is finally the year the Mariners can get back in the playoffs, man.
We have hope. We have Jared Kelenic. We have Julio Rodriguez up. Bunch of off-season acquisitions. I could not be more excited about Mariner baseball. I probably say that every opening day, BJ, but I really, really am excited about this season.
And that is the great thing about opening day. I don't know. I know it's the same in all sports, but there's just something about baseball where, unless you're a fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Baltimore Orioles or a couple of those teams at the Oakland A's, I mean, most teams, opening day, it's your year, man. You're going to shock the world and do something. And so certainly the Mariners, for all the Seattle Mariners fans watching, good luck today. In Minnesota against the Twins? And
we were supposed to open up yesterday, but again, weather delayed that, so we had to open up today. Whatever. I'm just happy that baseball figured it out. We're not opening up in June or something like that. So
we'll have probably this summer plenty of time to talk baseball on this show as we're looking for stuff to talk about. But today is not one of those days. We have the show kind of handed to us. Jay, Kurt chiming in. Good morning, Bronco Nation. How is everyone? Derek replies that he's motivated. So Carter says he's excited to hear what we have to say. That's a first. We appreciate that, Carter. Kurt chiming in, a big Orioles fan here. Sean Cook mentioning the J.P. Crawford 5-year extension that came through.
51 mil.
Todd coming in. Ichiro was a rookie the last time the Mariners made the playoffs.
Todd, why do we got to bring that up?
Maybe Jay, we just turn this into a Mariners exclusive show this summer and talk Mariners baseball for 30 minutes once a week.
We'll see how it goes. Maybe in June, but not today.
Appreciate everybody for joining us here on the Bronco Nation News social media channels. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and make sure you're subscribing to our channel. Give us a like there. My son knows way better than I do all the YouTube intricacies. I asked him this the other day, and he said, and the YouTubers do it like this. So there's phrases you have to say. You have to click the like button. You have to subscribe. And then, I don't know, but we're, I think, 49 or 50 away, Jay, from getting to 1,000 on the YouTube channel, which only puts us like 48,000 behind KTVB's YouTube channel, but we're coming for you. And we're putting press conference interviews, all kinds of stuff on there. So if you're watching us, folks, just help us build the YouTube channel here as we build BroncoNationNews.com. So it's Friday. Jay is with us. We got a busy day today, Jay. We're going to talk to Tim Plow, George Halani, I believe, on the docket after practice today. We're going to talk to Jeremiah Dickey for some one-on-one interviews later today. And that's kind of where we want to start today. Give us your thoughts. Give us your comments for all the folks watching. What do you make of yesterday's announcement that Boise State has a vision? It's kind of funny, Jay. They spent a couple hours with us privately telling us all about how it was a vision and not a plan. And then in the headline, they called it a plan. So, but Boise State announcing a vision for a huge new athletic facility, a athletics village, which includes all kinds of stuff for all the different sports, but the headliners are improvements and expansion to the east side, the south side, even the north side of Albertson Stadium, Extra Mile Arena as well. You got the new soccer field you can see there, a new 5,000-seat Olympic sports arena, indoor tennis facility, new beach volleyball courts, every sport, new lights and turf for the softball team. I mean, you go down the line, Jay, every sport is included in this. So, folks, get your comments, get your questions in. What do you make of this? And I guess your initial reaction, Jay, to the news that was announced yesterday.
I mean, my initial reaction, sitting back and looking at it, is, the word unrealistic comes to mind. But then again, Jeremiah Dickey has kind of coined this phrase, unrealistic expectations can lead to epic results. And I got to tip my cap already, because who would have thought that Boise State would this year raise $4.5 million to have the biggest scoreboard in the Mountain West? I mean, he certainly has a little bit of momentum going right there. And I will say this, when we were sitting in that meeting, BJ, it's so easy to get captivated by all these images that we're showing you right now. But it's also hard to forget about the past. And we have seen East Side renovation renderings a number of times. Just after New Year in 2020, I believe was the last time, and virtually nothing has been done to progress on those thoughts or plans. This does feel a little bit different. They are working with a different level of determination, a different level of energy, a different level of transparency right now. And so I think Bronco Nation should be excited. But if we're being realistic, there is a lot. There are a lot of hurdles that need to be cleared in order to pull all of this off. They will have to work with facilities on campus to get a lot of this approved. The same goes with the Idaho State Board of Education. And then, oh, by the way, they're going to have to fundraise a lot of money in order to get this done too. So Bronco Nation, if you're excited, you better show your excitement by opening your pocketbooks in all honesty. Or I don't even know if people have pocketbooks anymore, wallets, Apple accounts, whatever it might be.
Well, Jay, the kind of master plan is on the screen here for folks to see. And as I mentioned, very appreciative to Jeremiah Dickey, Cody Gogler, Joe Nickel for kind of walking us through this on Wednesday. I do think that changed a lot than if we had just seen this pop up in a press release on Thursday. So we kind of had an advanced screening of this, of what was coming to kind of help us shape our newscasts and stories and things. And so when you look at the diagram here, there's a lot to point out. First of all, this was laid on top of the campus master plan from 2015. So you notice some other buildings that are not currently there. You notice a roundabout on University Drive there by number 9, which is not currently there. And according to Don Day, would have some issues of that actually being built. But what in this, this is one of the first things they showed us, Jay, in the presentation, which again is available at ktvb.com, available at bronconationnews.com. What stands out to you from this diagram here?
Honestly, when it comes to I guess challenges, the practice field number 32, it's hard to kind of ignore the fact that it can't work as it's laid out in this plan. And we were told not to maybe take this diagram too literally. Like dimensions can change, things can change as they raise the funds and get approval for a project, and that's when they go in and they change, the specifics of the project. So, I look at my alma mater, for example, BJ. Washington State has a practice field located behind their football facility, and it is not 100 yards long. And so that is, I know that might sound weird to fans, but you don't necessarily need a 100-yard long practice field, especially when you have a 100-yard long indoor facility right next to it. And then you still have access to the blue, which obviously is a complete regulation field. Outside of that, though, I mean, BJ, it's obviously not us. It's not up to us to sell the project to fans. I get that, but I will say this: it is. I do believe that we can help add to the vision or maybe pass along what it could feel like. And when we were down at Central Florida this year. And I don't know if it particularly stood out to me just because that is a comparable university athletic program to Boise State and Boise State's hopes and dreams of maybe one day joining the Big 12. They don't say that, but we know it's a hope and dream of theirs. But standing right outside the football field, and behind you, you see the softball diamond, and right over your other shoulder, you see the baseball field, and off in the distance, you see the soccer and track and field facility, and then just behind that, you see the basketball arena. And then you turn around and you see this massive football venue. There was nothing going on in any of those facilities the day before the game that we were there. And you felt energy still standing right at the center of all that because it is exciting. It's cool to see it all connected. And, standing on the Bronco logo in the middle of the soccer field. And behind you, you see the volleyball courts. And off to your left, you would see the indoor tennis center and the 5,000-seat multi-purpose venue for volleyball and gymnastics. And just over the top of that, you see Extra Mile Arena, and then you swing back around and you see, what is Albertson Stadium. I mean, that would provide a lot of energy for this athletic department and this university as a whole, in my opinion.
A lot of comments as coming in as expected. Sean saying, as you said, the practice field looks like it goes on to the Boise River, and that was one of the first things brought up. But again, it's not.
And it also covers kind of coveted parking too. Like that just seems like there is definitely going to be collaboration and probably sacrifice is going to have to be had in order to make like that happen and get pulled off. I mean, you're going to see even the corner of it, right? In these dimensions, the corner of it almost touches Extra Mile Arena. I mean, so that will be. I don't want to get too literal because we were told that stuff can change with these renderings, but.
Well, you know how wide a football field is, and you know how much room you have in the parking lots. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to have known if that's even something you could theoretically do. So if they're doing that, they were told, they said it would fit, and it could fit. So don't take that part of the drawings too literal. They're not going to have the end zone on some platform overlooking the Boise River. It is what it is. I noticed at number 12, a new Broadway bridge replacement was something that kind of was quiet and didn't get much talk about in our little seminar. But look at this football stadium with the I thought that was one of the obviously it's great. There was a comment on here, on-campus soccer stadium lights. That's great. Being able at night. We mentioned a new hitting facility over at Donna Larson Park for the softball team, Jay. You talk about all the things that they're doing for all, indoor tennis facility on campus, beach volleyball courts right there. I mean, new gymnastics practice gym. I mean, they did something for all 18 sports, but I think, by and large, the Extra Mile Arena and Albertson Stadium improvements are the two that I think stand out to you when you look at them, Jay. And from the image right here, you can see the north end zone bowled in all the way. They said they want to make the concourse where you can walk 360 degrees back around the concourse around the stadium. They have that weird thing right now, Jay, where there's like a fence and then you walk down in front of the bleachers. They want to get rid of all that. You'd walk back behind it in a regular concourse, and there'd be no extra like 3 feet between the wall and the stands, and how weird that area always is. They talk about the facade going around. Obviously, the new varsity center is one of the big things you see in this image, Jay. 4 stories.
Yeah.
But what I found was a little interesting is they don't plan to touch the bleachers in the south end zone. A lot of these new facilities get built and they have suites and seats coming off the edge of that building. I found it kind of interesting. They said as of now, the plan would be to keep the south end zone seats and then have, some views from the top level of this building that go into the stadium. But the varsity center would mostly be the varsity center and not exactly an extension of the stadium, so to speak.
Yeah, and maybe that's where you kind of have to draw the line in the sand of what already seemed like somewhat unrealistic expectations, which maybe we can dive into that just a little bit more here in a second. But you look at the fact that they want to make this place more inviting. BJ, go back to that overhead view really quick if you could, and you can just see. Look at the points of access right now. Or in this rendering versus what they have right now. Like, I gotta say, man, like you look at we park kind of off to the right where you see some of these car renderings parked all the time when we walk down into the Gene Blameyer football complex for interviews. And you look up and I'm like, I would never go in the side of the building. And that's where fans, like, there are fans that enter from that side of the building. It doesn't look inviting. And if you go down to like the field level, like it looks like a dungeon almost. And in some of these renderings, now it's open. There's light. There's glass that says you can see that allows you to see in, and it invites you to come in. And then there's the field level club, which again is something that they have at UCF and a lot of other of these big venues right now. And on top of the field level club is luxury seating. I really think that's stuff that this university really, really lacks and really, really wants right now, because A, you can charge way more for that seating, and B, there are fans, like, yes, there are fans that want to get in with the cheapest ticket they can find. But look at, a number of the people that are moving into the Treasure Valley right now. This all of a sudden makes the game a party. And there are fans that want to enjoy a game like this. And so I think that it would definitely turn around, in my opinion, to be a revenue generator if they were able to pull this specific part of the redesign off. And up top, again, those orange spots, you have more luxury seating. Same with the kind of the blue seats that from another angle, you were joking around, it almost looks like a tarp, but those are luxury seating. Those are luxury seats right there. Man, BJ, it's something that, I know Boise State wants it to happen, but if they ever have hopes of being greater than what they are, they also need it to happen.
I do agree with like this. I mean, you come down Broadway Boulevard and you see this as your entrance to the stadium. It just much more looks like a Big 12 type stadium than a Mountain West type stadium. I mean, you think about when we went to the NFL draft in Dallas and things like that, and a lot of these big time stadiums have some sort of club entrance like this or an entrance like this. You're not just going through regular turnstiles. And so you mentioned you have this side of it. And then you would have the other, varsity center type entrance where you have two now brand new grand entrances, so to speak, to the facility. They mentioned the brick and how they wanted to keep the old school kind of feel of it too. And again, these are not, as you mentioned, to scale, perfect renderings. These are just concepts and drawings of what it could look like. So it could look a little bit different. But I think it's, this is fascinating. This part they talked about, like right here, is like ugly storage. Jay, you've been back in there. You've seen this area. It literally is used for nothing right now. So they take out a couple of the rows at the bottom. They open this up. You have this open air club where, yes, you really can't see the game from there. But, maybe this is mostly for the high-priced owners that want to come down and be on the field for warm-ups and hang out with folks before the game when they get there, before going up to their seats. It's kind of a new premium area. And then maybe they do sell cheaper tickets for this area, knowing that you can't see the game as well. Because I've been in that club at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. You're right behind all the players. You can't see the game at all, but you're at least in the stadium. You have the feel for it, and you can see it on the TVs and the Jumbotron. I mean, what would be better, going to a bar to watch the game or coming down and watching the game here? There's really no difference, right? So this is the type of area where space was not being used before, and now they're opening it up and making it a pretty cool area.
And I also wonder, BJ, like I'm sure the Boise State's done the studies on this, and this might sound weird, but like what percentage of fans that go to a game watch every play? Like I think that it would surprise you that it's not, that number isn't as high as you would think, that or fans that are as invested in every play. And this would allow you to, again, have conversations, watch the game, look up at the biggest scoreboard in the Mountain West if you needed to. You would be, the one thing about these white seats right along the front, I mean, you would hear conversations that are going on the sidelines if you were sitting there. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, I've been there. Like that would be right between where that little media walkway is and the players. I mean, you would be very, very close to what kind of is often the behind the scenes of a game if you were sitting in those seats. It would be incredible. But the one thing why this needs to happen too, BJ, that particular part, is it gets fans, as I just mentioned, closer to the action. Right now, I mean, it kind of feels like fans are far away from the action. And they've talked like it would be difficult to dig down because of the water table, and it would be really, really costly if you did. So this is that believe it or not, that like what they laid out might be kind of a cheaper alternative that might actually, work. And it would be neat if it did. And I know, like, maybe some people are like, why do you need to be closer to the sidelines? Oklahoma State, I could not walk shoulder length between the players and the stands. You have to turn sideways and get down. And when you have fans on top of you like that, it just creates a different home field advantage. And Boise State already has a great home field advantage.
Well, remember, I mean, there was a track there. This building was this facility was built with a track, so that's an extra 30 feet or whatever, right? That doesn't need to be there anymore.
Right, you're exactly right. And they once painted the track gray. Now they've totally covered it with the blue turf. But it would be beneficial to get fans a little closer to the action, I think. But
Sean's asking about when will the video board be installed. There is a chance it could be ready, but for the first game, right?
Yeah. I think that maybe the benefit, you look at Boise State's early schedule. Their first home game doesn't happen for a little while, and even with that being said, I believe they only have one home game in the first month of the season, and so that would provide Boise State and whoever is going to build or construct this scoreboard an additional month to get it right for the rest of the season. So it does seem like there's some optimism there. I don't know exactly, when it comes to construction and delays and all that stuff. It seems like everybody's experiencing that right now. But there does seem to be some optimism that it'll be there for most, if not all, of the season.
Rudy kind of jokingly says, where will the Tust Beer Garden be? And I know Mike Prater's talked about the Mike Prater Beer Porch or whatever. And I don't think this is like set in stone what all is going to be there, but there are going to be a lot of other premium options, Jay. And one of the other things they plan to do is expand and enhance the concourses in terms of the concession stands and the restrooms, which is badly needed.
Yeah, I think that people will be really excited to see the troughs in the men's restrooms go away. Although I feel like they got to keep one of them somewhere. I mean, like, it is kind of have it be like nostalgic, like they can't let them all go, right?
That was my favorite thing about going to Wrigley Field was the troughs there, man.
Yeah, like I said, it kind of feels nostalgic, I guess. I don't know if we need to feel nostalgic while we do that, but either way, a lot to be excited about. And they went so much further beyond football. You can see right now the basketball renderings, which in all honesty, BJ, these might be the most significant upgrades, because right now you see the weight room in the lower left. You see a 2-tier, easy access to the practice gym facility that would have coaching offices, conference rooms, video rooms. Some of this doesn't exist at all right now, and some of it that does is on the other side of campus from the Arganchona basketball complex. You can see like the massive video board that they would want to add in there. I mean, BJ, we've spent a lot of time in that basketball facility, and the locker room is very, very nice, but the actual practice court, it's not super aesthetically pleasing. This is a game changer. This looks way different than what it currently lies in place. I mean, even the court is more dynamic than what it is now.
And I just pulled this up, Jay, just to kind of show you, like, there are some schools that have this. I can't go full screen on this, but here's like here's like what KU has, where they have like a little area here for folks to hang out before the game, and it overlooks into the practice gym.
Yep.
You're talking about something similar to that in terms of offices and things like that. Maybe even an area where it could be a club where folks can hang out and have a drink before the game and overlook. But these would be like coaches' offices and things that overlook into the practice gym. So you are talking like big time college basketball right there with some of these images.
And maybe that's worth reiterating too, BJ, is it's like, I know that Boise State is asking for more for themselves, but the reality is they're not asking for more in terms of what they want to be and who their competition is, and maybe could be if they ever joined a bigger Power 5 conference like the Pac-12, but like the Big 12. I got the chance to go to Minnesota a few years back, and Boise State's former AD, Mark Coyle, showed us around their new Athletes Village, which is, you want to talk about a price tag and something that is even much more lofty than what Boise State is proposing. Go look at that thing. Everything is interconnected, because nobody wants to go outside in Minnesota during the winter. So everything is connected. And I remember there's this one visual or viewpoint that just kind of stood out to me. And I can't remember exactly where you stand, but you can actually see they have 2 layers of basketball courts, and both of them have glass that see into them. And so it's just this really cool visual that at that time made you realize how Boise State's in a different world right now. I mean, they are operating in a different world right now.
And again, most of the stuff that they're talking about, the space right now where these offices would go, are like currently old racquetball courts that aren't being used, and they're currently like storage and stuff. So you're using existing space that you don't use and turning it into a much cooler and even a revenue generator in terms of things like this.
Right. That's why I like when we point out some of the other things that might be more difficult to pull off, like that, again, maybe the football practice field. But this is stuff that could legit happen in the space that they currently have, and it would truly be just kind of, again, a renovation, knocking down some walls, and just making it better use of space that they have. And gosh, you also look at that, BJ, and you think about what Boise State's been able to do during the Leon Rice era, and if they had
walk some recruits into that building, man. Walk some recruits into that building.
It was funny. I just I know everybody posted a lot of stuff yesterday, but the one thing that kind of made me giggle about it is, like, right after I posted this photo on Twitter, Derek Olson like immediately liked it, and maybe he just like it was happened to be on Twitter and saw it. But I couldn't help but laugh and think like, man, Da probably would have loved something like this when he was at Boise State. So it just once again it adds to the energy. It streamlines efficiency. I know it seems so stupid. I get it, but like we talk about how busy these kids' schedules are. Well, to not have to, go work out in the weight room at the varsity center and then go to Coach Rice's office on the other side of the varsity center and then walk 15 minutes across campus to go to your locker room and then ultimately practice, like you would just be opening a door to do all of that and taking like 5 steps. It would probably allow the athletes would probably want to be at the facility more because everything would be so efficient. So
it is pretty crazy when you think about it. And I don't know if people realize that, but like a basketball player, men's or women's, like that has to go do a workout. They have to go over to the Argonchona facility, get their workout gear on, walk across the parking lot. And let's not forget, most of the time this is in the middle of the winter.
Correct.
Walk across the parking lot, back over to the weight room, do their workout. Then they're all sweaty and whatever, and have to go back across the parking lot. That's like a student on campus going to the rec center or something. Like that's not something that a Division I athlete should be doing when they're to be going back and forth like that. So this would centralize all of that in the same area. It would make it much easier. And again, you're talking about this village putting all these sports together because you have other sports, Jay, like soccer, that has to do the same thing. They've got to get in their cars potentially and drive to where they're, in softball, right? The softball locker room, I believe, is in the varsity center, and I believe it is, or they have offices there, and they have to get in their car to drive to Donald Larson Park for the game or practice. You're talking about trying to centralize a lot of this, making it where each sport has all the things they need right there. Yep. Even Coach Rice, it sounds crazy to think about, but the basketball coaches have to go to their office in the varsity center, and then when they want to go to practice or go see their players, they have to, again, walk all the way across the parking lot to get to the practice gym. It's pretty crazy to think about. We got about 5 minutes left, Jay. We got some comments coming in here as we kind of wrap this up, but let's go through here and find some comments here.
As we do this, BJ, I think again, we get back to how realistic and the hurdles, like dealing with the Idaho State Board of Education, dealing with facilities on campus, fundraising. There has been no launch of a capital campaign associated with this yet, and it might be a while before one is launched to associate with it. So this is truly a visual meant to excite and stoke the fires of Bronco Nation and maybe some people looking forward, maybe, with deep pockets that want to contribute to something with their name on it one day.
And Brian does say this is exciting. Can't wait. Hope the tickets aren't crazy expensive. Carter saying my dad's main complaint is the beer line being too long. It's the top priority for BSU right now. And yeah, they've heard that. Concessions being too long. This all kind of started. This is all kind of morphing from, hey, we have to widen the concourse, increase the traffic flow area there, new restrooms, new concessions. And then with that, what else can you do at the same time? Yeah. Guy says that they should keep a trough, whichever restroom the media typically uses, just for Jay. Can you imagine up there in the Stickle Sky Center?
We don't. That might be the one place we don't have one. To be honest with you, we don't have a trough up there. But whatever, I'll take it.
Big Wade says keep a trough. Every boy should have.
Okay, we're on to something here.
Hashtag keep the troughs.
keep a trough.
Yep. Eric says troughs equals tradition.
I didn't expect this to go here, BJ, but whatever. Let's have some laughs.
We have. Can we expect sound equipment? What about a new sound system? Have you heard anything on that, Jay?
Nothing like permanent or anything like that, or that establishes a timeline. But if I was a betting man, I think that you see like a new, unless something with the east side like takes place way sooner than expected. I think you might see a new sound system and some lights going at Albertson Stadium that would mimic what Colorado State has, where it's easier to change colors, turn them on and off. It definitely enhances what Colorado State's game day environment looks like. You see it in the SEC like everywhere. It's kind of the new fad, I would think. So I think that you might see those things in addition to the new video board even sooner than some of these east side renovations.
Of this plan, what do you perceive as the low-hanging fruit that could be done quicker? I would assume they have to start with football because the football also, I wouldn't call that low-hanging fruit, but you have to have the revenue generation part. Now, they did say if a donor comes in and says, I want my money going to tennis, they'll build the new tennis facility. But for the most part, you need the money from the revenue you'd make on the football stadium to help start to pay for some of the other stuff.
100% agree. The same might go with luxury seating at Extra Mile Arena too, for that matter. But I think you kind of have to look at that. And if you want to spend money to make money, those are probably the areas that you target, specifically football. But the one thing about opening this up to all sports, BJ, is you're exactly right. I mean, there once a point in time that, the late great Steve Appleton, he wanted a tennis facility on campus, and he gave them the means to go out and build that thing. And so maybe there is somebody in this community that is super passionate about soccer or beach volleyball or tennis or any of those sports that says, no, I got is it 10 million? I'm good. I'll take care of that, and let's go from there. But I do think the priority, the wish list, would be to start with football, no doubt.
Troughs for the win is Hunter's hashtag there. Hunter also saying, love the vision. Dickey has our athletics heading in the right direction. Our facilities will be elite. And as we kind of wrap this up, there's two kind of similar comments here that we'll finish with, Jay. The first one says, what is the price tag, from Kurt? And where's the other one here? From Todd, who chimes in, no price tag, funding, or timeline. And bluntly put by Todd, but that is accurate. And when we had this discussion with with Jeremiah, with Cody and Joe on Thursday, or I guess it was Wednesday, there were some questions like that, a little pushback in terms of, these drawings look great. You mentioned earlier, Jay, we've seen drawings before. Well, why is this going to be different? I guess the last 30 minutes we've spent looking at all these great drawings and how amazing it's going to be. But the real question now is, as they would say, what's next? And how do you pay for this? How does it happen? And how does this not become just another drawing that we've seen at BSU before? I will say, in the year he's been here, Jeremiah Dickey probably deserves a little bit of the benefit of the doubt at this point. I don't remember anything in terms of the scoreboard, $4.5 million, like something like that under the previous administration. But I guess just as we sum this whole thing up, Jay, it looks nice, but there are some serious, hurdles that still remain.
Yeah. Again, I think all this is about generating excitement. And in order to do that, you probably also have to eliminate some of the negatives as you do this. So if yesterday you come out and you say, this is what we want to do, it's going to cost us $300+ million, people would focus on that $300 million as one lump sum and be like, there's no way that it can be done. But as you break it all down, and you check things off, this isn't a 1-year project. This isn't a 3-year project. I'm assuming best case scenario, it would be a 5 to 7 year project. Realistically, you're probably looking at a 10 to 12 year project, not for the East Side renovation, but for everything that they presented to get done. It's going to take a moment. And the one thing I will say too, the last time that we saw East Side renovation renderings, BJ, it was kind of released to us in an email not long after, New Year's, and there weren't a whole lot of questions that were answered after that. Like, this was a comprehensive 48-page plan where, people are willing to put their name on it and reputation on it, for that matter. I mean, we're going to talk with Jeremiah Dickey today, a lot of us, as you already mentioned. And so this does have a different energy. It kind of lives with his motto of unrealistic expectations produce epic results. Jeremiah has also said that if you don't ask for something, then how do you know if you'll get it or not, or you won't get it? I can't remember exactly what he said, but his point is, ask for it, and let's see if we can make it a reality, and let's see if we can make it happen. Because if you just say, oh, let's just do this photo right here and not ask for anything else, how do you ever know what you're capable of, or what your ceiling is, or what is realistic or unrealistic? So shoot for the moon, land amongst the stars, and we'll see what happens with all of this. But I do think that this staff has the determination and drive to get it done. And BJ, let's not forget, like, Jeremiah Dickey has been associated with projects like this before at Houston and Baylor, and those schools right now are doing very, very well for themselves.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I think, Jay, we would agree the chances of the final product looking exactly like this are zero. Yeah. You're not going to get every single thing you ask for. So you're right. Maybe you can't get the volleyball courts moved, or maybe you can't start with the Appleton tennis indoor facility right away. But if you can get some of this stuff, and maybe you get something you weren't expecting, or vice versa. I mean, you know how it is when you ask for Christmas gifts, you ask for 10 things and hope you get a couple of them, right? So it's a big plan. It's probably what, $200+ million plan.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably a 10-year plan. But who knows? And I think certainly if you're in the Big 12 office this morning, I know Boise State doesn't want to say it, Jay. They're not going to use that phrase or that term, but it certainly can't hurt to now have this out there publicly as a future goal for this program moving forward. Guy says maybe you can expand the hashtag to Tust Trough.
I was so joking. I didn't expect this, but let's keep this energy going, everyone.
Kevin says finally have the right people to make this vision come to reality. And as Hunter says, you don't get what you don't ask for. So, guys, appreciate it. We got to get down to Boise State. We got some interviews coming up in a little bit. Sorry we couldn't get to all the comments here, but Jay, appreciate your time today, man. And we'll see. This will be a continued talking point as we move forward in terms of what the next steps are for this. But now they have a vision, and they can start to take that to the donors and try to see where they can go from there. I don't think a large capital campaign is anywhere close to happening, but I think now you go to your big donors, your Lyle Smith members, people like that, and say, here's what we want to do. How can you help? And then you kind of evolve the plan from there.
Yeah, the quiet behind the scenes stuff begins now. The public, part of that probably a ways away, maybe a year, maybe 9 months. I don't know. I have no clue. But the private, the quiet part begins now, and hopefully we'll see if they can pull it off. Be just straight up, I'd like to see it, man. It'd be
awesome. It would be cool, no doubt about it. And yeah, you'll have Jeremiah Dickey sound tonight on KTVB on the news. We'll have it as well, BroncoNationNews.com. So the spring game is tomorrow. We didn't even get a chance to talk about that. So 3:30 tomorrow is the spring game, and then hopefully it's free attendance. So hopefully folks will check that out. And then Jay and I will wrap up the spring game for his Tuesday appearance next week. So appreciate it, Jay. Appreciate all the comments and everything, and appreciate Boise State for giving us basically a easy free show by announcing that yesterday. But we'll see you down there, Jay, at practice. And thanks, guys. Check out KTVB.com. Check out Jay and Will, KTVB, and of course Bronco Nation News as well. Have a good Friday. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.